Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I want to give you a small little update on the Wave of Conviction Ignite Elementalist that I started or re-league started yesterday. So the character is now about 1 day, 1 hour, so 25 hours into the league more or less. We're level 90. And the goal of this character, the purpose of it, was to clear the Atlas, and now we are at 115 of 115. Means usually now I would start going for the favorite map slots. I've done the Shaper Guardian and an Elder Guardian. So now it's about Conqueror of the Atlas, or just any Conqueror, but they're like 20C or something, and I'm a little bit starved on Chaos right now. So I'm not going to do that as of right now. The rest is pretty much just a boss kills all the way. And now I'm basically going to convert this character into a Legion farmer. Okay, so I'm like, since the league started, or even before, I said like, this league I want to farm Legion because Legion is also on the map device. I don't know how good it will be, I just think it's fun. So yeah, that's why I'm actually doing it. I have no idea if it's going to be good currency, bad currency whatsoever. For the Atlas passive tree, I'm pretty much blocked out every single content or league mechanic besides the Legion. Then I got all the Legion clusters on the bottom side here, on the right side, and on the top side the double cluster. And then I opted in for all the small nodes here with the increased effect, as well as some quantity over here, and I think all the shrine nodes that were available to me. So the thing is, like, this is like halfway of like an league start, kind of like give me higher tier maps strategy, because I don't want to invest any regrets for Orbs of Unmaking. So at some point I'm probably going to make a full Legion tree out of it. But before we talk about the next build attempt, more or less, I'm going to make a map showcase, just talk briefly about the upgrades that I made for it, and then just give you my last 2 cents more or less about the build before I move on or ungear the character. I would say any map, I think. Let's just run a Dunes map over here. Yeah, that should be fine. So, about the build. I would say it's a very simple build, okay? There is nothing expensive over here whatsoever. I just had like one medium cluster jewel just to get the Fan the Flames, because a medium cluster with like Fan the Flames and anything other useful, like everything is priced as a divine, right? Pretty much the only upgrade that I made from yesterday's video is actually I got myself some Valkyries with a Val Flame Blast, just to have some more dedicated single target big ignite kind of thingy that I use for essences, that I use for the map boss and something. But I'm not sure. I think it has pretty much the same damage as my Wave of Conviction as of right now. So I would assume once this thing is actually leveled up, I just have like anything, like just bought the gloves, just picked up some gems from the vendor and just leveled it while I was actually leveling, because you actually lose 5 levels of support gem, but your main skill, since it's a cast, scales pretty well with it. So this should actually be a single target upgrade if you use it properly. And then I got myself a Crown of the Inward Eye. I used to have a gold rim until tier 16 maps pretty much, but since I'm like so overcapped on resistance, since I'm still running Purity of Elements just for the sake of ailment immunity, as well as Determination, Herald of Ash for clearing, or for dedicated boss damage, I would swap in the Herald of Purity just because it gives me more physical damage, which then scales my Wave of Conviction quite nicely, right? Other than that, the rest of the items still the same. I'm still wearing my Obliteration, my life resistance, life resistance, life resistance, life resistance, life resistance, like whatever I could get. I think it was like 2 or 3 chaos per piece. So I would say overall very, very cheap and does the job. I'm not saying this is an insanely fast mapper, nor is it like an insanely good bosser, neither is it the most tankiest build, but I would say the overall build for the, I would say low investment with like 1.5 divines, maybe like 200 chaos, what is in the build right now. With that being like, this was the most expensive because I wanted to have a perfect roll. I think the cheap ones started like, I think like 60 chaos. I bought this one for 60 chaos, and the rest is like pretty much cheap. There is no awakened gems. I don't even have quality on my gems, because I like, from league start, they are just turned level 20 or are about to turn level 20. So now I could actually reset them with a, I think it was a GCP vendor recipe, so they get back to level 1 and 20% quality. But as I said, no awakened gems, no nothing crazy. The only thing that I bought was like a Wave of Conviction level 21, and that was 8 chaos. So as I said, pretty effective build when it comes to lower budget, but don't expect any insane crazy build. But it did the job. Within 1 day, I was able to fill out the entire atlas, even doing some very hard 8 modded tier 16 maps that came out of a Valor because I wanted to have the map completion bonus. But I think for day 3 and re-rolling, it was still pretty nice outcome that I managed to finish this entire thing, right? And now I basically can just start with any kind of currency strategy, whatever comes up into my mind. And I think Legion might be fun, and therefore I'm most likely gonna go for an Arc build. Yo, is this like some less... No, I just have mana problems. Yeah, happens, doesn't matter. But yeah, overall, pretty chill build, pretty easy. You just wait for conviction, applies the exposure thanks to our elementalist ascendancy. We also apply an additional 25 exposure. So I think my general fire exposure sits at about 45%, I think. And then I do have a self-curse flammability just to get some extra DPS, lowering the resistance of the monsters even further. So boss damage, it kinda, as I said, like, it's definitely not a bosser, but it gets the job done. So if you don't mind spending a little bit extra, I'm just like wondering, why is my mana so... Wait a sec, I think I know why. Because I have an Arcanist brand with Flame Surge and, what is it, Purity, and what is this shit called? Purifying Flame. That applies my combustion. You know, it's a trigger, and that means as soon as I have my Arcanist brand on it, it should probably just use mana every time it procs my Flame Surge. So maybe that's the reason why I'm like sometimes running out of mana. But I do have an inspiration support in my Wave of Conviction that helps with the mana sustain a little bit. But since it's an Ignite build, I don't need to sit here and permanently spam a Wave of Conviction to get stuff done. So it's definitely fine. As long as you don't roll any maps that have like chance to avoid elemental ailments. This is like the worst case. I had a couple of those and I literally asked some guild members to kill off the map bosses because it was just so terrible. Put this over here, put that over here, and another Kalandra invitation, whatever map for the map stash tab. Waiting for buffs, because the league mechanic itself, yeah, feels a little bit underwhelming. No, actually, underwhelming is the wrong word for it. I would say it's fucking disgusting, useless. It's very rippy and doesn't give you anything but a waste of time. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good statement on the current league mechanic. But in the other hand, the last time I was running it was tier 1 maps or something, so I haven't tried any Lake of Kalandras on tier 16. I have no idea if this is going to be better or not. But since Chris Wilson stated in yesterday's post or something that they're gonna increase the loot and everything, that's why I'm just like, you know what, I'll just make it a tab over here, name it Kalandra, and just throw in everything in here, and once it's buffed, then I'm just gonna run all of these mirrored tablets and hope that it's going to be good. Is good? Damn it. Sometimes, never lucky. But yeah, so, 2 things. Next build, or the revamp build, I think since I want to go for a Legion farming strategy, I think there is nothing more... what do you say, satisfying than Val Arc, and that's why I thought, like, let's go for some Val Arc shenanigans, and try to one-shot Legions in the good old way. I actually want to go for Val Arc Ignite, just because I love my Ignites. Ignites are very, very strong, especially when the Ignite comes from a Val Arc, and that shit is actually dealing massive amounts of damage. Copium, okay? I hope it works out. If not, then I'm probably just gonna go back to Wave of Conviction, just keep on grinding for currency, and just farm currency more or less, right? And there's one other topic that I want to cut on a little bit, is the current state of the game, the current state of the league, because like 9 out of 10 content creators are actually doing separate videos about that. I don't think this is necessary. I'm 100% sure that entire Reddit is full of that kind of topic, that everything is unrewarding and GGG is so bad and whatnot. I can agree on certain parts, but not everything. We're still like, this is day 3 of the league, so we are at like 50, 60 hours into the league, and people are like complaining for not having insanely gear and one-shotting everything, and not having like 500% movement speed and kill the first add in the map and then explode the entire thing. That was never a thing on League Start, will never be hopefully a thing on League Start. But I do agree, it feels a little bit unrewarding, but my kind of like point of view is, if everybody has bad loot, it just bad loot and luck, it just evens out at some point, right? I just don't understand for some certain extent on the PoE trade. Let's see if it's available right now, just to give you guys an kind of an example. For example, Aegis Aurora, right? Goes currently for roundabout, you can say 10 divines. So prediction-wise, if we say we knew up front that an Exalted Orb and Divine Orb, the swap basically, a Divine Orb will be worth more than the typical Exalted Orb, just because Divine Orbs have a lot more use cases, right? But the question I have on so many items, a usual 6-link goes for like 5 Exalts, and if I check now, the 6-link price is like 7 divines. It just doesn't really add up. I don't know why people are so freaking delusional about their items. And there is many other cases. I've seen, like, I was just checking about Eternity Shroud, right? And there was one 6-link available for 12 divines. That would kind of be about 15, 16 exalts or something, right? I mean, fusings are not really expensive this league, and the core item of an Eternity Shroud is like 40 chaos or something, so it just doesn't add up in any case. So this is kind of like the market is somewhere wherever, right? But this is why I enjoy this build so much, because it's pretty much a solo self-found attempt. I mean, the items that I bought are pretty much generic and super simple, and the rest is just life resistance and gets you going quite easily, right? But I think as of right now, since GGG made a post, Chris made a post about changing the rewards and changing or doubling the loot and whatnot, I think before like arguing about it, they are aware of the situation and they are working on it. So I just, like, you know, sniff some copium, and I would say just relax, don't overreact too much. And I think in like a day or two there will be a patch that will fix hopefully the league for everybody else, right? So good, that's my 2 cents about the topic. All right guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching. The PUB is in the description below as always, and see you in the next video.